What's going on, guys? So in this video, I'm going to be discussing with you the 10 designer fragrances I plan on reaching for the most this summer. Now, some of this stuff, for those of you that have been watching me for a while, you may be expecting to see because I'm very seasonal, and some of these I only wear certain fragrances in the summer, and some of those are in this video. So there's some channel summer staples in here, as well as some newer stuff to the collection, and then some stuff that I haven't worn in a while. Maybe I didn't spend a lot of time with last summer. So I'm kind of reaching back in the collection, which has kind of been the theme for the year, to spend more time with these this summer. So I've got 10 of those fragrances, and I want to discuss them with you. So stay tuned. Starting with one that I couldn't tell you the last time I wore this fragrance, and I've only worn it maybe a handful of times. Super underrated at this point because nobody really talks about it. I never see a scent of the day post or anything when it comes to Mr. Burberry Indigo. So this is a 30 ml that a friend sent me quite a long time ago, and as you can see, there's barely anything missing. I've only worn it 3, maybe 4 times. And it's a shame because this is a beautiful fragrance full of fresh greens like rosemary, for example. Which, if you know anything about me, I love fresh, spicy, fresh greens. I love all of that stuff. I really do. This is full of that. For being a blue fragrance, it's quite green, to be honest with you. And solid performer. Definitely pulls a nice compliment here and there. Doesn't smell super cheap or anything like that. Actually has a solid, decent quality to the oils. It's a very lovely fragrance, super versatile for the warm weather. This one can dress up and dress down, signature scent everyday type of stuff, if you want it to be, for sure. And it's one I plan on spending a little bit more time with this summer. Hell, even at the recording of this, I plan on wearing it in the next few days, and I'm probably going to do a full review on this one because this is one I procrastinated and put off doing for years now. So definitely one to reach back in your collection and wear this summer if you have a bottle. And if you don't have a bottle, you can get them for a pretty good price. You can get samples, try it out, see if you're into it, because you might want to wear it this summer too. That's Mr. Burberry Indigo. Next, this is another one I've had for a few years. I've only worn maybe a handful of times or so, and it's one that's built for high heat. It shines in the high heat. It is Ralph Lauren Polo Ultra Blue. So this is a beautiful, bright, mega bright blast of citron in the top. It's got a zest to it. It's beautiful. It's sharp, super refreshing. This is one of those fragrances that needs the heat. It's not going to perform that well if you're indoors in a climate-controlled environment all day long. It's going to be faint. It's not really going to project heavy. It's only going to go for a few hours. Whereas if you get outdoors, you get your body heating up and sweating, this stuff is going to pump. It's going to push off your skin. It's going to really do its job. This is one of those fragrances that I plan on reaching for on those super high heat days, maybe when we're going on a hike this summer. We do several days a month where we go do different hikes around here. One of the benefits to living in the mountains, there's all kind of cool hiking trails to go on. So with the temperature rising, this is going to be one of the first fragrances I think of for those super high heat, going to be sweating my ass off type of situations. So if you haven't smelled this one, you probably should. It's a bright, fresh citrus, airy version of the all-time great Polo Blue. Lovely fragrance that doesn't get a lot of love. Polo Ultra Blue. So if you're the type that likes lightly sweet aquatics for the summertime, this is one that might be right up your alley for the summer. We're talking about Prada Rossa Ocean. So this is one that I haven't been wearing since I spent time with it to do a full review last year, which this is also a release from last year. It has a beautiful, light, soapy, floral, powdery tone to it. Very aquatic, oceanic feel without being too aquatic or marine, with a nice sweetness that is very detectable from the start that doesn't become too sweet. For some people that don't like sweet fragrances, it might come across as too sweet. But for those that wear their fair share of sweet fragrances, it's lightly sweet. It's not overdone. Performance is solid, slightly above average, not a beast, but definitely detectable, and it has that kind of DNA that those around you are going to like. This is a mass appealing, crowd pleasing type of fragrance. It's good stuff. It's a very good fragrance. If I remember correctly, I rated it for very good. I don't remember the exact rating. I don't believe it was one of the best releases from last year, but I think it was a great release in its line. This was a great addition to the Luna Rossa line, in my opinion, because my favorite was Carbon, and I still think it may be Carbon. I'm still going to wear Carbon throughout the summer randomly, but I'm going to be reaching for this one a lot more because it deserves the attention. It's a damn good fragrance. This summer, this is the Luna Rossa I'll be reaching for. It's part of Luna Rossa Ocean. Now, last year, it was all about Acqua di Gio Profondo from the Acqua di Gio line as my summer flanker of choice. The year before was this fragrance, because Profondo wasn't out yet. And I'm going back to it. Giorgio Armani Acqua di Gio Absolu. You know, I love wearing this stuff. I haven't worn it in a while either. The best way to describe this one is take Profumo, remove the incense, add some fruits. You have Absolu. Because it still has the C notes, it still has the labdanum, it still has the heavy patchouli dry down. This stuff's really good. Admittedly, one of the least popular Acqua di Gio fragrances that has ever come out. I'm one of the few in the crowd that loves this fragrance. I think it's a great fragrance. Definitely a strong performer for the summer. That's not too much. It's not too sweet. It's got a ton of freshness. It's very aquatic. The fruitiness it has, kind of fruity, fresh, sea breeze type of smell. And then you get into some of that earthy patchouli in the dry down. It's a beautiful fragrance, a little amberwood type of feel that helps it push 8 to 10 hours of life on my skin easily, minimum 8 hours. And then it does project pretty damn heavy for the first 2 to 3 hours. This is well pronounced without filling a room, but this stuff grabs attention. I have gotten my fair share of compliments wearing this fragrance. Like I said, this is one of those reaching back in my collection to show some more love type of fragrances, because always has been underrated in my opinion, but then again, it's just my opinion. You may not feel the same way, but then again, you might be right there with me on this being underrated. And if you're right there with me, grab your bottle for this summer too, because I'm going to be reaching for Acqua di Gio Absolu. Those of you that have been watching me for a while, you probably expected to see this fragrance. Yes, there's a new 2022 version. At the recording of this, I have a decant coming in the mail this week for me to try it, but I absolutely adore the original Eau de Toilette in the Yves Saint Laurent Y line. The aldehydes, it's so bright, so fresh. Synthetic, sure, but damn it, I love how it smells. So beautiful. Aldehydes, green apple, some sage, very well done sage with a nice dose of this salty ambergris smell that kind of gives a little bit of an aquatic feel to it, just a little bit, without being watery. Bright, airy, breezy type of scent that I actually get decent performance out of. I get like 6 to 7 hours on my skin with this one. And it's so light and airy, it really gets out. Yes, it projects pretty good in the first hour, but it's so light and airy that it's got a lovable trail. It really does. It's not a thick, dense cloud that follows you once the projection calms down, but because it's light, airy approach with all the aldehydes, people will get light little whiffs if they're breathing through your nose when you walk by. This stuff is really good. I love this stuff. I actually have 2 bottles of this. I'll be reaching for this one time and time again. This is going to be one of my most worn fragrances again this summer. That little bit of a dent came from just last summer. I'm very seasonal. I only wear this in the summer, and I'm going to wear it again this summer heavily. I got to spray it again. I just love this stuff. I really do. Hopefully y'all were able, those of you watching this, were able to get your hands on some bottles when they got discontinued and clearanced out everywhere, because I got another 100 ml for $39 at Sephora months and months ago. I actually did a shorts video to let everybody know, so I hope everybody that wanted to get a bottle super cheap got a bottle. And the time is upon us. For those of you that have it, summertime is the ideal time to wear this one, and I will be, like I said before, I'll be reaching for it repeatedly. Yves Saint Laurent Y, the original Eau de Toilette. Now, you can't go wrong in summertime with any of the Dolce & Gabbana light blue fragrances, from the original all the way to the newest Italian Love, which I still haven't gotten a bottle yet, but I do plan on getting a bottle of Italian Love this summer for sure. But the one I plan on reaching back for more than the rest is going to be Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Sun. Why Light Blue Sun? I feel like this is one of the best fragrances to ever come out in the line. Obviously, I think the best flanker is Eau Intense. That still hasn't changed for me. but this runs a close race for second place. Because it takes the original light blue, that bright, citrus, peppery, lightly smoky, airy aquatic type of smell, adds a little bit of coconut to give it a light sunscreen vibe. As long as it's a light sunscreen vibe, I'm cool with it. When it smells strictly like sunscreen, it's a little off-putting for me. They balanced it just right, in my opinion, here, because this puts me on the beach. This puts me poolside when I smell this fragrance. This stuff screams being out in the sun, pun intended, and just enjoying some summer vibes. This is such a great fragrance, built specifically for summer. I only reach for it in the summer, and I think I only wore it one time last summer. So it makes me want to reach back in my collection and give it some more love this year. So summer 2022, one of the designers I'm definitely reaching for, Light Blue Sun from Dolce & Gabbana. Now, admittedly, this one's a little strange. It's the oddball in its own line, the Guerlain Loam Ideal line. We're talking about the Sport Flanker here. This is one I don't think I wore it at all last year, and I think this is so misunderstood and underappreciated for the uniqueness of this fragrance, because it takes that bitter, creamy almond that the signature for this line has and makes a beautiful, watery, aquatic fragrance that smells of quality too. Is it a little weird? Yeah, it's strange. It's when you see the note breakdown and when you first smell it, you're like, this doesn't mesh. Why is this together? It actually really works. It's very inviting, especially when you spray it on skin and you give it a few minutes to settle down and develop. It's lovely. A believable, watery, aquatic smell with bitter almond. There's other things going on, but that's the main takeaway from all of it. There's a little bit of earthiness, a little bit of woods in the background, but it's strange, sure, unique, very enjoyable, oddly. I really dig this stuff. I'm an advocate for this fragrance. I'm one of the few, if not the only one, that says get a carded sample and try. Every time I've ever mentioned this fragrance, I damn near beg you guys, get a carded sample and try it. Look, you may try it and say, God, what is he talking about? This is awful. That may be the case. I can understand where it'd be polarizing, and some people just aren't going to get it, aren't going to understand the scent profile, and aren't going to like it. But I do believe there's more people out there that will appreciate this fragrance for its uniqueness. They just give it a chance. This is more of a summer flanker than the white bottle, the Cologne flanker, ever was, because it's just so believable, watery, juicy, and aquatic. It's actually quite nice. Give it a chance this summer. Get your nose on this one if you haven't. I'm definitely going to be reaching for it. Guerlain Loam Ideal Sport. Now, this one's not strange. This one's super easy to like. This is one of those fragrances that you just want to keep spraying, even if it's not time to refresh. You may just want to relive the top note and build your scent bubble back up again with Givenchy Gentlman Cologne. Now, admittedly, I don't spend enough time with this one. I don't think I wore it at all last summer. So right over my shoulder, right there, is a stack of Givenchy Gentleman and Gentleman Only fragrances, all in their boxes. This goes in its box too. There's just a smooth line of white box, black box, white box, black. You get it. So it's easy to forget about, unfortunately. All of them are. That's the downside to not having everything on display and or having a ton of fragrances. Gems like this tend to get forgotten about and not get enough attention, because this is a great, bright, citrus, mild green type of fragrance. This is one of those petitgrain, bright, fresh green fragrances that I adore. And like I said, I have it on my forearm, actually. So beautiful. When I was putting all the fragrances together for this video, this is the one I sprayed on my skin. Lovely. Lovely green woods. Now, when I say green, don't think stuff like basil and rosemary and all these spicier type of greens. No, no, no. This is strictly fresh. And it's got kind of the vibes of Mason Francis Kurkdjian Aqua Celestia Forte, John Varvatos Artisan Pure, fragrances like that have that petitgrain note. It's very distinctive, it's very relatable to the other fragrances, and that makes this such a joy for two reasons. One, it dresses up and dresses down, and the quality is there. That's what makes this fragrance such a joy. It's one that once you spray, you're probably going to want to overspray, because it's going to smell so damn good. You're going to want to make sure other people can smell you too, because this stuff's great. It really is, and I will be reaching for it this summer. Try it if you haven't yet, Givenchy Gentleman Cologne. Now this is another one of those staple for summer fragrances. Ever since I got it, it's been in every summer designer video every year, and if you want to bet on it, it's a safe bet. It'll be in the 2023 designer summer list too. Prada Loam Low. Like I said before, I'm seasonal. I only wear this in the summer, and I may only wear it 3, 4, 5 times in the summer. So this 5.1 ounce bottle, couldn't even begin to tell you how many years. This bottle might outlive me for all I know. As much as I love the fragrance, because it is one to love. So the difference here from the original Prada Loam is you lose some of those spices, the cardamom, black pepper, stuff like that. Replace it with ginger. Ginger still gives a little bit of a fresh, spicy edge to it, but what it really does for this fragrance is adds this bright crispness to the opening of the fragrance. You still have that beautiful, soapy, floral, powdery iris neroli combo that just smells like a luxurious bar of soap. Like the original, just a fresher take on it. You don't sacrifice a lot of performance either. This is a 6 to 8 hour fragrance on my skin, and projection is kind of wet and wet arm's length for about 2 hours before it settles in close to the skin. I love this stuff. Like I said, it dresses up and dresses down. There's never a bad situation to wear this. If you're a fan of soapy fragrances or a fan of iris fragrances, this is one that you at least need to try. I'm not going to sit here and call it a must-own, even though I kind of feel like it's a must-own. But if you like either one of those fragrances, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't get your nose on it and see what it's all about. You may love it, you may hate it, but at least you'll know because you tried it. But it's one I'm going to be reaching for this summer because I reach for it every summer. It's Prada Loam Low. Now, I know some may complain because this is discontinued that I put it in the video, but it doesn't change the fact of how deserving it is to be in every summer designer video. We're talking about Bulgari Acqua Atlantiqve. This is one of the best summer fragrances ever made. In my opinion, it's the best one in the line. And the whole line's good. But this is, the easiest way I can describe this is, it's Bulgari Acqua mixed with Dylan Blue. Picture standing on a pier, fishing, that salty sea breeze smell, while wearing Versace Dylan Blue. Strange, I get it, but that's what it smells like. And it's a beast in performance. It's so good. God, this is good. If you haven't gotten your nose on this one yet, you really should. If you've smelled it, and for some reason you haven't added it to your collection, this summer's the time to do it. Yes, prices have started to go up. A fragrance that was once like 40 some odd dollars for a 50 ml, now 50 ml is probably running you 70, 80 bucks. I think I saw it for 70 or 80 bucks a couple days ago. It's still less than retail. And the other thing you need to consider is if you don't get it this summer, imagine how much it's going to cost next summer. So, am I saying this is something you need to run out and buy? I'm not trying to sit here and make you spend your money. But I'm not the first person you've heard about this fragrance with. I'm sure you've heard a lot of people praise it for good reason. And if there was ever a time to get it, it's now. And the reason being, like I said, if you wait and you wait around till say next summer, what was 70 or 80 bucks might be 150. And then you're going to be kicking yourself and saying, should have listened to TLTG. So, get your nose on this one. I'm not saying blind buy it if you haven't tried it. Find a way to get your nose on it. If you've got a buddy that's got a bottle online, see if you can buy a little decan off of them. Do what you can to try this one if you've ever been curious about it. Because I got to tell you, from my standpoint, this is no doubt one of the best summer fragrances ever. But it's definitely got the oceanic vibe. The whole line is pretty much about spring and summer, more so summer. And this is a beast in performance. It's a compliment frickin' magnet in my experience. When you have more than 5 sprays on your skin, you're gonna fill a frickin' room, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because it smells so good. Like I said, picture Bulgari Acqua and Dylan Blue mixed together. If you've smelled those two, check them out side by side. Maybe layer them. It'll kind of give you a similar smell to this. Maybe not exact, but man, like I said, I understand most people don't like seeing a discontinued fragrance in a recommendation list for a season. I understand that. That's why this section's a little bit longer than the rest, but I stand behind this one. I have for many years, and I'm telling you, you haven't gotten your nose on it, it's better now than later. Trust me, with Bulgari Acqua Atlantiqve. Well, that's the 10 that I have for you today, and until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. I know it was kind of a long rant with Acqua Atlantiqve. This one's just really good, guys. You know, it's really good. All of these, some not so popular with others that I enjoy. Guerlain, Loam, Ideal Sport, Acqua di Gio, Absolu. Those are kind of polarizing, not big favorites of the community or the masses as a whole that I really enjoy. And I'm a big advocate for sample. Find a way to get a sample, a decant, get your nose on it, a tester bottle, at a fragrance counter, whatever. Get your nose on it. Don't just trust my opinion. Trust your nose and it coming off of your skin, not just a test strip. Because in my opinion, these are all freaking fantastic. These are the designers I plan on reaching for the most this year. Is this the only mid-level designers I'm going to reach for? No. But it's the ones that I'm going to be making it a point to wear. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of the 10 I recommended in this video and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.